guys, and welcome to this week's math lesson on adding and subtracting decimals. So your I can statement for this week is I can demonstrate an understanding of addition and subtraction of decimals. So let's get right into it. We have 0 and 2/10 plus 0 and 3/10. So your first step is you actually need to write the numbers stacked on top of each other, and you need to make sure the digits are lined up. So make sure the ones are lined up with the ones, and the tens with the tens, and then the tenths with the tenths, and the hundredths with the hundreds. And most importantly, make sure those decimal points are lined up. So I have 0 and 2/10 plus 0 and 3/10. Just like that. Those decimals are stacked right on top of each other. Then I'm going to add using any personal strategies that I have. So I know 3 plus 2 is 5. Decimal, bring that down, and 0 plus 0 is 0. The answer is 0 and 5/10. Let's move on to another one. So this time we have a whole number in the first number that we're adding. So we have 1 whole and 6/10 plus 0 and 9/10. So we made sure that our tenths are stacked on top of each other, our decimals are stacked on top of each other, and our whole numbers. 0 and 9/10 has no whole number, so that's why the 0 is here in the ones place value. So we're going to do 6 plus 9. What we're going to do is we're going to count up. So start at 9 and count up 6 more. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There we go, bring down that decimal, and then 1 plus 1 is 2. So our answer is 2 and 5/10. Here we go. Our next example, we have one number that has a decimal and one number that doesn't. And I'm going to show you how to quickly add those. So we need to stack those on top of each other. We have 14 and 9/10, and then we have the number 5. So we know that 5 is in the ones place value, so we're going to put that under the 4, which is also in the ones place value. Then I'm going to add a decimal and then a 0, because we know if we only have 5 that we have no partial numbers. So then we can add just like this. 9 plus 0 is 9. 4 plus 5 is also 9, and then 1 plus 0 is 1. So our answer is 19 and 9/10. Awesome. Okay, let's move on to a money addition question. So let's say we're at the pet store wanting to get Winston some new toys, and we see these 3 toys on the shelf. I decide that I want to get him just 2 new toys. So I'm going to buy him, let's see, the Nerf ball for $14.99, and I'm also going to get him the Kong ball for $9.99. Now I have lined up the numbers. 9 is in the ones place value, and I put it underneath the 4. We can't write it like this with the 9 over here and 99 cents. Do you see how the decimals are not lined up? That doesn't work. So 9 is in the ones place value, so it has to be under the 4, which is also in the ones place. So now we're going to add all these up. We know 9 plus 9 is 18, so we're going to carry our 1, put the 8 down here. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 9 more is 19. Then we're going to bring down the decimal, and then I'm going to take this 1 and 9 and turn it into a 10. That's faster for me. Plus 4 is 14, and then 1 plus 1 is 2. So I have $24.98, but you have to make sure that you have that dollar sign in the front here. Otherwise, this doesn't represent a money value. Awesome. So let's move on to subtraction of decimals, which is the exact same thing as addition of decimals. You're just going to need to make sure that your decimal points are stacked on top of each other. So we have 0 and 9/10 minus 0 and 3/10. So I have my decimals stacked on top of each other. Now I'm going to start subtracting. So 9 minus 3 is 6. And then I'm going to bring the decimal down, and 0 minus 0 is 0. So my answer is 0 and 6/10. Awesome. Our next one, we have a whole number to the left of the decimal in our first number, and then our second number is a partial number. There are no wholes in it. So we have 1 and 9/10 minus 0 and 5/10. Again, our decimals are lined up. We have our decimal place values, our tenths are lined up, and the numbers in the ones place value are also lined up. So we have 9 minus 5. You can start at 5 and count up. That's what I like to do. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is 4. Bring down that decimal point, and then 1 minus 0 is 1. So our answer is 1 and 4/10. Next question that we have. So this one, there is no decimal in our first number. So we have 3, and then we have 1 and 2/10. Well, we know the 1 in the second number is in the 1's place value, just like the 3. So we're going to put it under the 3. Then we have and 2/10. So just like what we did in adding decimals, we're going to be putting a decimal here when subtracting. We're going to add a decimal and then a 0, and then we can go ahead and subtract. So now we have some regrouping. We can't do 0 minus 2, so we need to go over and we need to borrow. The 3 is going to become a 2, and then the 0 is now a 10. Now we can easily subtract. 10 minus 2 is 8. Bring down that decimal. 2 minus 1 is 1. Our answer is 1 and 8/10. Awesome. Let's go to our last example. It is the book that we have all been waiting for, The One and Only Bob. You can buy this book right now at Chapters for $14.39. So let's say that I go to Chapters and I have a $20 bill with me. And I'm going to give the cashier $20 to pay for my book, which is $14.39. How much change is the cashier going to give me when I am done purchasing my book? Well, now we need to subtract to see how much change I'm going to get. And as I can see here, we have a lot of regrouping to do. We cannot take anything away from a 0, so we have to go all the way to the 2, turn him to 1, and then we have a lot of regrouping, subtracting across zeros. I know you guys love this. So we turn all of these into a 9, and the last one is a 10. Here we go. 10 minus 9 is 1. 9 minus 3 is 6. 9 minus 4 is 5. Oh, bring down that decimal, don't forget. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So we don't need to put the 0 right here in front of the 5. So we're going to erase that and just leave it blank. And we need to make sure that we bring down that $sign. So when we are done paying for our book, we should get back $5.61. Awesome, so our lesson is now over. I would like you guys to go back into Google Classroom and complete the adding and subtracting decimals Google form. Good luck!